Totally open-minded. Tommy Nation politics. Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today? Tommy Nation Politics.
Crystal, what are you taking a look at?
The total Democratic Party collapse in Virginia, New Jersey, and nationally has sure led to some takes. MSNBC in particular seemed to go into full meltdown mode, reaching for a familiar villain, the corrupt politicians. Nah. The failure of Democrats to deliver on even basic campaign promises, not so much. Maybe the fact that Terry McAuliffe didn't run on a single damn thing other than Trump is bad. Of course not. The problem was the Democratic Party's old nemesis, the voters. Those battled voters who just won't do what they're supposed to do and show up every single election to vote Democrat, regardless of how pathetic, inept, or sold out the party proves themselves to be. But of all the bad takes, there was one that really went above and beyond. Just take a listen.
What the Democrats' theory of the case is that the white non-college educated voter cares about things like kitchen table issues, like infrastructure and pipes and how many gallons of milk you can put on the table. I contend that what they care about is using their guns on black people and getting away with it. That's what they want. That's what they actually are in it for.
Wow. Where do I even begin with this one? First of all, let's just start with the fact that the idea that Democrats have leaned into kitchen table issues or delivered on kitchen table issues is actually hilarious. What they've really done is won the presidency on a decent agenda and then slowly, week by week, shot the most popular provisions in the head very publicly. So I don't know what the Democrats' theory of the case is, but Lord knows it's not delivering on kitchen table issues. But obviously, the really disturbing part here is how Elie Mystal just casually smears an entire demographic group as racist killers whose main political consideration is being able to shoot black people. This somehow manages to be both blatantly racist and blatantly classist all at the same time. Yeah, the college-educated whites, they have enough learning to vote the correct way, but those poor whites don't know anything except guns and the KKK. You are essentializing an entire group of people down to the sum total of their race and their education status. And in the process, you're also completely letting the Democratic Party off the hook. Once again, the Democratic Party can never fail, only be failed by the deplorable public, insinuating that there is something uniquely evil or bad about a particular segment of the population. So let's talk about the white working class again. Look, there is no denying race is a potent force in American politics. No doubt about it. There is certainly also no denying that elites weaponize race to divide the working class and maintain power for themselves. Clinton bundler Terry McAuliffe, I'm sure, knows a thing or two about those sorts of politics. But the last thing a leftist or progressive should want to do is to play into that game. There's also no denying that class and race are linked together, leaving those whites who are struggling more vulnerable to racist and xenophobic messaging. But the shocking...
So, Tommy Nation Politics, guys. I'm here with co-founder of Tommy Nation Politics, Chris S. How's it going, Chris? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you,
man. You just heard Crystal Ball talking about dog whistles and racist dog whistles. Middle America. Oh, they're gonna take your kids. They're gonna rape your wife. First of all, I'm glad I'm here with a white male to let me know what's going on here. First of all, you have this guy that looks like Don King over there talking about.
Of course, you're asking the wrong white guy too.
I know. I'm asking the perfect white guy because you don't go through your life thinking about this shit. You literally just live your life. There are literally some people, Chris. There's some people literally living their lives with I'm white, you're black, or I'm black, you're white. Is that crazy?
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, especially with everything going on in the world. And that's still what we're focusing on.
I know.
Still we're picking apart. The world is falling apart. It's World War, end of the world war. And
how did it get like this?
We're still picking apart people by who's in our city based on where they live, what they look like,
Yes.
how old they are, how much money they make. Like, we're too busy dividing each other that's what's going to kill the world before nukes, before politicians. It's just going to be people dividing people until it's just anarchy all the time.
If only it was anarchy, but there's always going to be these fucking parasites, I feel like. Because they're benefiting off this. They're the ones that are doing this, I feel like. It's not
They're
any of us.
profiting off of it, literally profiting off of it. I really hate how half my face is black right now, like blacked out. Where am I?
What did you just say? Are you wearing
My face
blackface?
is blacked out over here, like I'm looking like I'm all half anonymous.
Hey,
There we
bro.
go.
You know what's funny is like all of the people that you think are the villains, especially the mainstream media, and the politics, like Julian Assange, who told us all about Afghanistan and their double taps and our military war crimes, and then anonymous hackers. The bad guys are the good guys. The good guys are the bad guys. The bad guy is the one in fucking Delaware right now, fucking selling you out for an infrastructure bill that's bipartisan. I don't know how much I can emphasize this to everybody. When something is bipartisan, the last time something was bipartisan, we went to Iraq. So, guys, when things are bipartisan, it's not good. So you know.
Hold up. You say we went to Iraq as if we ever left Iraq.
Yeah,
We've been there for decades.
We'll never leave. So that's that's what happens when things are bipartisan.
It's New America.
Is we walk ourselves into wars and recessions and depression.
Have the Declaration of Independence, Iraqi style.
These two parties literally need to be stopped. And I was talking to Beatrice, like she really honestly thinks that you could just literally tell the truth and talk to people like she did, with Cottonmouth. You just be like, you need to think about exactly. They don't care about the truth. That's why I agree with you, Chris. That's why we have to populism. We have to insert populism, and we have to insert sales, because it's the only thing these people understand is sales. Our whole country is a capitalist country. We have to fucking speak the language. We have to speak the language.
Everyone has to be babied and walked through everything these days. There is no free thinking. There is no innovation. We are the free thinkers. We are the innovators. You asked earlier.
We are the dreamers of dreams.
You asked earlier in the first segment how we fight back.
Yeah.
This is how we fight back.
I agree.
Revolution.
I think it is.
Speak up. How do you fight back? How do you fight back? By fighting back. Like, not letting them take control of your life, not letting them put a needle in your arm, not letting them delegate where you live based on your color and based on your income. We just gotta fight back.
Hallelujah.
All together, like,
praise the Lord.
That is the root of it. Like, do I need to start the revolution? Do I need to be the leader? Do I need to take over? Because that's what needs to happen. We just need to turn around and fight back.
All I gotta say is they don't really care about us.
We have the time, Thomas.
What's that?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to jump off, everybody. It was good to see y'all. Good to meet you, Beatrice.
Chris S.
Good speaking, good free thinking, good innovation.
Don't be a stranger, Chris. See you later, boo. Beatrice, to business.
Hello.
So we're in a world war, like you said. Again, it's a battle that I feel as if we have to be played strategically, and we have to play as the enemy does. And the enemy plays it in a way that they don't care about us or our welfare or our humanity. They play it to win. Who cares who dies? I'm at that point, Beatrice, where I feel like the only way to destroy the enemy is to play the game of risk. What do you think?
Well,
What do you think about that?
if there's one thing that I learned, is that when you try and fight fire with fire, or you try and match the strategic level of this, unfortunately, it tends to blow up in your face. So my solution is, one, truth over profit, truth over politics. That's it. And no matter how uncomfortable it is, it has to be said. and you basically have to face it. A lot of people have gone full blown into denial to the utmost because they're afraid to face the truth that their government was never really in their best interest to begin with.
It was at first, the founding fathers. And then after the French, we decided to go to war with the British and the French. We started to get into international conflicts. And that was the thing where James Monroe, he had the Monroe Doctrine. He preached isolation because of that. But we didn't listen. And now the whole world is tied together with technology. So it's hard to have isolationism. And now we're really in conflict with everybody and everything. And everybody's a troll and nobody believes in truth anymore. So how do you combat propaganda with truth if nobody even believes the truth? They think it's a fantasy. They think it's a conspiracy theory. Well, that's my dilemma.
That's basically brainwashing and conditioning. Truth has always been out there. It's whether or not you're willing to explore that truth, face it, and if you refuse to believe it, then that's not out of dissonance. It's out of fear because you're afraid to leave that small box. Yes. Where you just get up, you vote, get married, procreate, pay your taxes, cycle repeats. Then you have people who become wise to this whole cycle, and then they're the ones who are labeled conspiracy theorists and whatnot. Well, the problem is with the whole term conspiracy theorist. One, it's a double meaning because conspiracy is a possibility or theory of an orchestrated assault on a particular population or class. That is what conspiracy means. Theorist, again, is a possibility of a theorist basically is a possibility, a person who believes in the possibility of, yet is limited in its exploring. So when you say conspiracy theorists put together, it's a double meaning. It means nothing, and it should mean nothing. But they've made it into a point of, if someone says this, you can call them a conspiracy theorist. Well, it has no meaning. It's empty words. Because you're not even using it the right way. And two, once evidence has been found and it's hardcore, then it's no longer a conspiracy. That's the issue.
Words don't even mean words anymore. Like you observe with Cottonmouth, when he said communism is a lie, two words that he had no definition of, or the defining of, was communism or a lie. A lie is something that is not true. Communism is neither true nor not true. It is an economic theory. That is the definition of communism. And lie, so like these people, they don't even know what words mean anymore. It's so ironic and sad. It's so ironic and sad, bro.
It's a crying shame when people just now throw words out there without realizing, it might not sound comprehensible to people who have a higher level of vocabulary and word construction, which that's me.
If you're gonna use a word, you gotta know what it means. I don't care about your vocabulary. Like that's just my. If you're gonna use a word, have to know what the word means. Here, it's freaking crazy, bro. Socialist, communist, Maoist, Stalinist, these are all labels that they throw at you. The mainstream media makes the glue stick. And that's what they call manufacturing consent. Manufacturing consent for the 1%, the one more wealth, the bottom 90% would combine.
I call it the case of the ists and isms. You have Marxists, communists, socialists, all of the ists, and then you have feminists, you have chauvinists.
Why do you think they do that? Why do you think they do that, Beatrice?
Because the very term, the very word building of that instills division and fear. If we were to take away all the ists and isms, there would be really nothing to fight about.
But then, how would they get control? How would they have control?
They lose
Yeah.
it.
The 1%. Exactly. So that's what they want. And we were warned about this from the start. I mean, we were warned about it from the start. We were warned from George Washington, and we were warned by Edward Snowden, who famously told all of us that we were being surveilled because they want to know what we're thinking so they can control us. It's not a conspiracy, guys. It's real life. This is a real person who is a real whistleblower telling you these things, guys. Telling you that they want control. Just so you know. Can I start this thing? Hello. I'm lagging. Edward Snowden, speak to us, bro. Beatrice, you say something. I know,
Sorry.
bro. I'm having so many fucking computer problems. It's like not even funny, bro. My timing is so off because of it. This technology is literally Zuckerberging me. I'm being Zuckerberged right now. That's what I have to say. Zuckerberged! God damn it!
My parents worked for the government, and I expected that I would as well. September 11th happened when I was 18 years old. And it was one of those things that really changes the politics, not only of the people, but of the place. And at the time, I didn't really question that. It just seemed like, you know, we had this new problem. Everybody on TV is saying we need to deal with it. And when everybody else was protesting the Iraq War, I was volunteering to join. And that's because I believed the things that the government was saying. Not all of them, of course, but I believed that the government was mostly honest. Because it seemed to me unreasonable that the government would be willing to risk sort of a long-term faith in the institution of government for short-term political advantage. As I said, I was a very young man. I ended up going to work for the CIA, undercover overseas out of the diplomatic platforms. Then I moved into contracting, which is really, you're still working for the government in government offices, taking the directives from government managers, working on government equipment. But the badge that you wear that identifies you changes from blue to green, the color of money, because most people go into contracting, still working for the government in these classified spaces because you make basically twice as much for the same work. And then I worked in Japan for the NSA, before eventually bouncing back and forth until I ended up in Hawaii in a little place called the Office of Information Sharing. It was only here, and I was the sole employee of the Office of Information Sharing. They didn't realize how good I would be at that job, and neither did I, that I could.
Planning a release can be exhausting. There's so much going on that it's easy to mess up the technical stuff.
So every time I get an opportunity to express my really true feelings without the anger. YouTube has the commercials. That's what I'm talking about, Beatrice. We can't escape this fucking capitalist nightmare, bro. This capitalist sales and branding and bullshit that has brainwashed us all into thinking that a good sales pitch is truth. It's literally valuable.
I think
it makes me angry.
I think the problem with everyone is they don't realize that it's not a matter of being trapped. It's finding the doorway through. And it's not a doorway. It's basically to sit back and rewind, review, reset. That's what people just have to do. They have to sit and just think, cut off any distractions and just think. And then the answers will come to you on their own. It may not be the same day. It may not even be the next day. It may not even be the next week. But as long as you continue to have the little distractions that is being thrown at people is to disrupt the brain. Now, if you were to remove those distractions, if you were going to take 2 hours out of your day in little increments, if you want, and just meditate and just listen to everything around you, and you start to become part of that etheric flow of energy, and that will guide you to the truth. Because the truth can be put out to thousands of people, and you're going to have maybe like one or two people be like, I'm going to look into this. Here's the reason why. Because those other people have already been consumed by the distractions, the false promises, the propaganda, and the manufactured speeches. And you have those very few that take a look at our elected leader, or hell, even a celebrity, and just be like, yeah, okay, have a nice day. That
Right.
doesn't happen overnight, because every single one of us was born with dreams. I want to be an actor. I want to be a model. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a teacher. All of this. And when you have difficulties achieving those dreams, or if you achieved that dream and then had it taken from you, it has a very devastating effect on the human mind. It is literally now filled with apathy and hopelessness. And that's where you get to control the population. You hand something to them, and then when you take it back, then they have the belief of, well, there's nothing I could really do, because I mean, look, they took my job, they took my kids, they took
Right.
my
And
house,
it
they took
wasn't them. It was the immigrants. It was the black people. It was the gays.
and then
It was the setting of the
the cycle
dividing.
repeats itself. Now, if people were to just slow it down, don't overthink, and
Yeah.
just be like, okay, there's a lot of stuff that's occurring around me that's happening. Do I shy away from it, or do I give it a chance? Because if you've got thousands, and I mean thousands of videos coming up of people who are explaining what is exactly going on, and these are everyday people from their own phones explaining what is going on, then that's where you have to pay attention. That's where you have to be like, okay, we got everyday people saying this. It's not celebrities, it's not the mainstream media, it's people. And the problem is, over the years, the people have been subjugated to repetitive propaganda and conditioning. If you don't vote for a particular president, then oh, you're not American. Or if you
Right.
don't vote at
And
all,
you help not only you
you're
help the other. Not only do you not help, you help the other person if you don't vote for the president, whatever. It's literally yeah. It's all very offensive. It's offensive acts.
oh,
Which
I just love the back and forth. Oh, if you vote for Trump, then you're a racist, or if you vote for Biden, then you're socialist. I'm like, how about this? If I'll put it this way, I'll help everyone. I'll swing both ways because I am bi. I'm gonna help everyone. If you vote, period, you're an idiot. Either way, both sides, doesn't matter.
I only vote because I don't vote for either party, but I only vote because I feel like it's I'm from Texas. I have a conservative spirit and it's tradition that we fought for this thing, and even though it's a fake illusion, our grandmothers fought for it and our grandfathers fought for it, so I have to fucking uphold
That's
that shit.
understandable.
But I completely know that it's completely an illusion.
Like,
But
it's really weird. It's really weird. Like when election season starts, it's really not picking up on it's really not picking up yet. But as the months go by, you got a whole bunch of puppets running around saying, "Oh, for this person, ooh, look what they can do. Oh, once we get them in the office, look what they can do."
they
And
never do it. They never do
that's
it.
when you get people like, yeah, I'm gonna vote. Dumbass.
Yeah,
That does
guys, they
not
never
work.
do. They never do it. Spoiler alert: they never do it. Not only do they never do it, Beatrice, but just to get back on track to our agenda, which is the Infrastructure and Jobs Act that Joseph Elizabeth Biden has passed. He didn't pass it. Nancy Pelosi did. Thank God Joe Biden has Nancy Pelosi. That's all I have to say. But now that he's passed it, we got the squad that voted against it, but the corporations and business groups are calling on President Biden to sign the bipartisan $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill into law quickly. And finally, the business community rallied behind the infrastructure package, which makes huge investments in roads, bridges, and broadband internet. Oh my goodness, broadband internet. We
Yay.
urge President Biden to quickly sign this bipartisan package into law immediately. He said soon. Joe Biden, he really can't do things very fast. He's got to take a nap and eat some ice cream, get his bomber jacket. But the corporations want it done now, which scares me a lot, B. Because AOC, who voted for the CARES Act, she's walked back all of her campaign promises. She didn't vote for this. Now we got business interests wanting it now, immediately. What is this going to do? This bill is so huge. It's 2,740 pages. I can't read it all. I don't think I'm going to be able to read it all before they fucking sign it. But like something's going to happen, bro. I don't even know what it is yet. But Jesus, what do you think it is? Why do you think these corporations want it done immediately? Everybody's talking about the labor shortage. That's my opinion or my speculation. What do you think?
There's a reason why there's a labor shortage is people are walking out. They refuse to go with the vaccine mandates.
Right.
So
they don't want to deal with that.
It's not really a shortage. It's more of a retaliatory strike from the working class. Like, hold it.
They want to stop that.
You're going to make
it stop that, right?
Insane. You're going to make this horribly difficult for me to be able to put food on my table, feed my kids, keep a roof over my head. No, fuck you. I'm walking out because all of our workers deserve better treatment and respect. Every single one of them. Because come on, they make furniture, they process our meats, our food, they teach our kids, they care for sick people. They deserve better treatment and respect. And to slap a mandate on them and threaten to fire them if they don't go with it is a complete destruction of the working class. And I find that to be an act of treason.
So you're saying that they want to destroy the middle class once and for all. I feel like because they want to stop this. What you just said, they want it stopped. So I think that's what this thing is about. They're going on and on about it, Beatrice. Everybody knows there's not a labor shortage. We're all treated like scum. We're all exploited to the high hilts. Treated like indentured servants and in debt. Meanwhile, we can't even fucking put food on the table for our families and being exploited at the same time. We're done with it. So everybody knows that that's the truth. They want it done. They want it over with. They don't want us to fucking have this power. So what do you think in this? I don't know, man. There's something in this bill.
It's not a matter of whether, and this is what ticks me off. When people start saying that, well, what can we do? They have all the power. No, that's what they're trying to drill into your head.
Yes.
We have the power. We always have. It's just a matter of finding out how to use it. And they're attacking every section that makes us human, that makes us universal beings. They are attacking it at every corner. How can anyone be able to sleep or even have good health if they're worrying about so many bills, if they're worrying about the mandates, if they're worrying about the violence in the streets, if they're worrying about what's going to happen overall to the citizens of the United States? They know what they're doing. They'll either kill you by stress or they'll kill you by indirect legal experimentation.
That was very formal. You're right. So that's why I'm saying I agree with you. This is by design, and they know what they're doing. And they know that this is not a labor shortage. They know that we're taking our power back because we're tired of it. And they don't want it to happen.
That's why they're on a desperation roller coaster, and it's out of control. They're throwing so much propaganda at the people. The people are just looking like, yeah, okay. That's the reaction, and they're bringing out the truth themselves through the platforms of social media, through networking, podcasting, like you and me. This is what people power looks like. It's the voices of those who have had enough to empower others. That's what people power is. It's not sitting, no offense, it's not sitting in a huge room talking about the same crap that's putting us in the same crap. Because as a person who has experience in dealing with community organizations, that's what mostly happened. I would be sitting there and it would be like, okay, so what's the issue? Even though we talked about the issue last week, the week before that, and the week before that, then you want to bring up What's the issue at the next meeting? Well, what do we do to take care of it? Well, I thought we talked about that a week ago in a cover letter. Oh, okay.
I thought we cleared that up. I'm a community organizer.
So
Barcelona.
then I'm starting to realize, now I started to realize that's okay. This shit is repetitive. We got to change that. So every meeting, it was no longer what's the issue, it's who is causing the issue. And we deal with that. It's not a what, it's a who. Same thing when it comes down to the environmental
Wait,
disparities. It's not a what, it's a who.
but
See,
then
they're
you go to
trying to change
escalation. It's
it.
escalation when you do that, because then you
They're
start to
trying to
point the finger at exactly what's happening. Just like when people talk about our spending and how if you tax the billionaires, it wouldn't fix the deficit at all, because our spending is out of control. Our Pentagon budget is out of control, overblown. Our defense and military and intelligence, which is doing a coup d'etat on our country, is overblown. If we talked about our spending, if we talked about that, we would have to think about what we spent money on. So when you start to point the finger at who, they're going to start to point the finger at
okay. Well, I
at,
mean,
at
yes,
the
they
gays,
can
at the
go ahead.
blacks, at the Jews.
They can go ahead and
That's when it
start
starts to
pointing.
escalate.
This is where what they call, this is what real free thinkers would call, it's scapegoating, because once you're getting backed into a corner and the evidence is piling up against you, you'll be like, oh, who's that over there? Yeah, they're the ones that did it, or that the particular population. No, it's not my fault. Maybe if black people weren't so lazy, we wouldn't be in this situation, or maybe if white
Exactly.
people weren't so violent, we wouldn't be in this
Yeah,
situation.
exactly.
If I'm sorry,
Yeah.
this is a good one. This is a good one to me. If we didn't have so many Hispanic rapists, this place would be.
Right.
I'm like,
MS-13.
you're just throwing ill, negative race stereotypes. Oh, I love this one.
It's easy though.
If
Right.
black women were to get up off the bed and stop spreading their legs to collect welfare tax,
Spreading their legs.
chef's kiss,
They're
kiss.
rapists. They're
Anyway,
criminals. They're rapists. They're criminals. Some are good people. Right. That's the way they do it. So that's what happens when you back
we
people into
have
a corner.
very
Is
fine
you get a
people.
Trump.
This is what pisses me off when they say that they want very fine people in their public offices, yeah, upstanding citizen. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna be straight up honest, because that's just how I am. 90% of our elected officials in the last 10 years running, were convicted or under investigation for any form of corruption, extortion, rape, I love this one, assault. And these are very fine people.
Best case scenario.
Let's go further than that. Let's talk about the rampant scandals involving the elites in Hollywood. These are very fine people. Let's talk about the corporations that are supposed to be
Don't do it.
representing.
Not the corporations, B. Not the corporations. I'm just
Sorry to
kidding.
say, the corporations that
No shit.
profess
Go back
that
better.
profess that they care for the people and they want what's best. These very fine people are mired in environmental contamination and observational testing and plausible deniability. They use those loopholes to harm people every single day. So when it comes to those very fine people, kiss my ass.
I mean, some are rapists, some are criminals, some
Oh,
cantaloupe calves going across the border. You don't have to look far for cantaloupe calves. I see all of these Washington D.C. folks dragging a lot of criminal activities over the border of. Is Washington D.C. its own state now? Because they have their own laws.
so I learned
They have their own
something.
laws.
So
Right.
I learned a lot of things when it comes to being a public figure, when it comes to being a elected official. It's very sad, but it has dissolved. And I've said this in at least maybe 29 of my episodes, my entire podcast, that our political landscape is no longer a political landscape. It is more of a political celebrityhood. They have Twitters, they've got Facebooks, they got Instagrams, and you don't really get to talk to people anymore. It's pretty much they have their staffers talk to you, and then they'll see what can be done. First of all, to address constituent issues, and if you're an elected official and you have constituents having issues, if you serve a district that is mired in multiple issues, then the first thing you do is you represent that district.
Correct. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to
Now
represent.
it's not even that.
Representative.
It's not even that.
No.
Because I have seen a complete collapse of constituent cooperation
Correct.
and assistance. I have seen a collapse in communications with our elected officials. I have
Correct.
seen a complete
They won't
collapse.
pick up the phone. They won't pick up the phone.
I've seen a complete collapse of transparent behavior. They say they want to keep things transparent and they don't want any more corruption. Well, how can you not think corruption when you can't get anyone on the phone, when you can't really
Correct.
talk to them, when you can't get your message out there, when you're being stymied?
When you're asking for transparency and they give you a bill that's 2,740 pages, and then they tell you that's transparency, when every
That's
clause and every fucking every number of the page has another affluent current to strike from the clause. This, is that transparent? Because I want to know what's in this bill. And let me tell you something
It's
else.
not. And
I
let
was
me,
on the Hill. The first thing I see on the Hill is, do illegal immigrants deserve Social Security benefits? Do illegal immigrants deserve Social Security benefits? Is that a question that the American people should be asking? Or should we be asking, why is the cost of living so high? These are questions that are being, no, but these are questions. You're right. I know, literally, these are questions that we should be asking, but we're not. We're asking, why are the illegal immigrants getting Social Security?
I'll give a really good
disgusting,
example.
Bro.
I'll give a really good example. I could write a 2,000 page about my favorite fan fiction. And I will win the adoration of people everywhere. But does it solve anything? No, it doesn't. So it's not a matter of what you put on paper, it's what you can do when it comes to action. There have been so many proposals, so many bills, so many pieces of legislation that has literally went into the paper shredder, literally, because that's all it was. They just wanted to draft something to make themselves look good. And once the people got all freaking blinded by that and distracted, they said, paper shredder, now let's do our real agenda.
Build Back Better Act. Build Back Better Act. Build Back Better Act. That is the Build Back Better Act. Let me tell you guys.
More like Build Back Butter.
That is the Build Back Better Act.
Build Back Butter.
Was the Build Back Better Act.
Build Back Butter. The shit is
y'all got fucking paper shredded. AOC knew it too. She wasn't gonna fucking go along with that. She might have voted for the CARES Act, upward transfer of wealth, access to the age. She might have fucking walked back all her fucking campaign promises, Medicare for all, Green New Deal, legalized marijuana, but she will not fucking go through a fucking fake ass Build Back Better Act with a dementia-riddled old man president fucking pretending to give a shit about you. She thought that was fucking disgusting. Now, if only I could figure out what's in this bill, because that's the ice cream on the cake. These corporations.
There's a lot of experts. I actually did a little bit of a brief scanning of this bill, and all I wanted to do, honestly, Tommy, was just throw it over a cliff. Just wanted to yeet.
I knew all along Nancy Pelosi wasn't gonna fucking do a shit. You guys are so. This is tired.
It's getting redundant. There's over 965,000 pages of legislation from the last 3 years, damn near 1 million pages. And I could tell you right now, it just gets circulated. Really good example when it came to the PFAS contamination. What's going on right now? There is 19 different bills that are just being circulated throughout Congress and throughout the committees. Nothing has been passed. Nothing has been approved. And I've been tracking that because me and my husband, well, we live in a city where there was a great deal of PFAS contamination. And as usual, once people start speaking the truth and start laying down facts, then they get their fucking puppets in, and well, we're back at square one, basically. When it comes down to issues, when it came down to racial issues, that's when you had the rise of, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Wear a t-shirt, get a mug, get a pen.
I remember those days. I remember we used to say Black Lives Matter, right? Back in the day, George
Back in
Floyd.
the day, and it had better meaning than a brand. That's what it is now. Black Lives Matter sneakers, Black Lives Matter cereal, black. I'm like,
Yeah,
you just lost the
that's
message right there.
that's our country. That's our country, dude.
Then
That's our country.
oh, it
That's
gets
our country,
better.
bro.
It gets better. I like playing games on my phone. I do. Here's the problem.
Yeah.
I love puzzle games. But every single time I go to download a puzzle game, why the hell do I keep getting symbols for the COVID-19 virus, a vaccine, a fever, a mask, and things like that? Now I know it's propaganda. So I've deleted all of my games because now it's just mired in this COVID-19 bullshit. I can't even enjoy it.
I mean, everything's mired in everything because we've got to collaborate so we can make the sales pitch, and then we can have a quarterly growth interests and profits. Don't you want to expand your portfolio, Beatrice? Don't you want to expand your portfolio and have quarterly growth interest profits? Don't you want to do that? Yeah. So
Spoken like a piece of shit.
literally, literally. I could go. I'm already insane. I feel like I'm Alice in Wonderland, bro, every day.
I've had people ask me that a lot because yes, I run a podcast. Yes, I'm into music, and they're like, "Wouldn't you love to be a part of something great?" I am a part of something great, just not your bullshit society.
What directors that pollutes the oceans and fucking makes you have cancer? Would you like to be a part of that? Yeah, no.
I get letters, I get emails all the time from dozens of groups. There's only very few that mean what they say, that do fight, that are trying to help people. And I give them props and I say, listen, I can't really donate, but I can tell you right now, I could do a pitch for you. I can spread the word and I could do what I can to help. And lo and behold, of all the petitions that I wrote and all the collaboration and the correspondence from these groups, they have had victories, major victories against these corporations. And even though, and this is to everyone who is listening to this stream, who's watching this stream, even if you don't have a cent to give, just spread the word, because you might that message might reach someone who could do even more than just mere words. And that's what people are missing. The real meaning of collaboration is to have it circulate. But unfortunately, we're having what we call a reverse collaborative failure because we're circulating the wrong damn message.
Correct.
Plain and simple is, I don't know how much simpler I can be anymore.
We're spreading the message of the loyalists. That's what we're doing.
Exactly. You're not spreading the message. You're not spreading the message of what it means to be a human. You're not spreading the message of what it means to be truly free, not to have so much overreach and so many restrictive regulations. This is a cycle of poverty and strife and destitution repeating itself. And people keep forgetting that we have been here before. We have been here before. 2008 to 2016, 2017, we had issues. We had rents that went up a little bit. I'm sorry, a lot of it. We had foreclosures. We had the housing bubble burst. We had food insecurity because there was a massive, they don't want to talk about this. There was a massive outbreak of foodborne illnesses, and it ruined all the food. We lost 3.8 trillion pounds of food in 2010. You don't want to talk about that. It's not a matter of talking about things. It's what needs to be said. And when you have people just walk up to you and go, "Hey, how about that Biden bill?" Say, "Fuck your Biden bill." I don't care. I don't, because here's the reason.
At this point, some people in Congress don't even.
The majority of the funding, the majority of the bill is mired in the Green New Deal crap. Raising the taxes by $100 billion, that's going to affect the middle class and the lower class. Why would you lower corporate?
I wish it was a real Green New Deal, though. It's not. It's not real green. It's not real. It's not real releasing greenhouse gas emissions. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gone to that fucking summit in their jets and loaded the entire air with pollution. These guys aren't serious. They're not serious at all. I wish that the people, the things that I believe in, like I actually believe in like making the planet a better place and like
Yeah, one
having
does.
clean air and fucking
One
having
does.
rights. But like literally, these people take our values and they mock them. They mock them by
Oh,
pretending
they
to
do
have them.
more than that. They undermine. Like really, really, really good example. It took a lot of fighting. It took a lot of action. It took a lot of collaboration. It took a lot of people power for them to finally say, okay, fine, let's legalize cannabis. Let's start legalizing cannabis. Here's the funny part. You can legalize cannabis, but you can't do this, and this.
Right.
Well,
And
what
Bill
was the,
Gates
what was
owns
the
all the
fucking
patents on
point?
the seeds. You can't grow it. Yeah, exactly.
Sure, here's a really good example. Sure, let's help the black population. Let's do a funding bill for that. But it's not going to go to this person, that person, not.
Not Candace Owens, definitely. Definitely not her.
Let's do a small business. Oh, really good example here. Small business, the small business funding through the CARES Act. Most of that money went to major corporations and not small family businesses. We lost
Yes.
64% right here in the Hudson Valley. We lost 64% of our small businesses because they did not get the funding they needed to stay open. What do you call that? Well, that I call corporate fucking capitalism, and they disguised it as a CARES Act. Oh no, it wasn't going to be the CARES Act for the people. It was going to be the CARES Act for the corporations, the elites, and the donors, so they
It
can get
always
back
is.
what they
It
put
always
in
is.
for their agenda.
Always is, bro. How is it? It always is. But it always. Martin Luther King said it was socialism for the rich. We're at the same place from 1964. Think about that, B. We're at the same place Martin Luther King was at. We have not progressed.
No, we've fallen.
It's literally
It's
like
not. We're
that.
not even in the middle of war.
I don't mean to depress people, but literally, the Martin Luther King was
If,
fighting for the same things we're fighting for right now.
if
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry, but if the truth depresses you, then you just want to be in a little tiny bubble, thinking that your government loves you, thinking that these corporations are donating money to better your life. Kiss my ass. It's not true. Government hates you. Don't want you anymore.
You're the
Corporations want to
carbon
take
they want
over.
to emit, guys. You're the carbon. You're the carbon footprint they want to emit, guys. Just so you know, you're voting for
Even
these
though
guys, but
there are a lot
you're
of
the
people.
carbon footprint they want to emit.
The majority of the U.S. population does not travel, and I'm talking about citizens. Period. The U.S. population does not travel as much as these little fuckers want to keep saying. The majority of the travel
No,
comes from
nobody can
people with
afford to
higher
travel like that.
incomes, starting at and above $1 million.
Obviously,
They're the
air
ones
travel is very expensive.
traveling. And the
So
majority of the population, that at least 80 to 90% of the US population, which is at a mid to low income status, that really don't travel, we stay where we are, and we go with the same pathways because that's what we know. But we got a whole bunch of people that's guzzling airplane fuel and all of that, traveling to see the world and be exotic and stuff like that. But you're not going after them. You're motivating them to do that. But if anyone wanted to just say, well, I don't like to travel much. Oh no, you're the carbon footprint. You got to go.
So
How ass backwards is that?
you and I, we have. I think we have different perspectives, somewhat, but we are saying the same thing, and that's what I'm trying to say to this whole entire country, guys. We're saying that the right wing and the left wing, we're saying the same thing. Out of many, one, and we know what the common good is. I do feel like we do. All we have to do is get rid of the corruption, get rid of these political parties that are not supposed to exist, obviously, and we got to get rid of the fakeness and illusion of the corporatocracy and oligarchy. There's not corporatocracy. There's not oligarchies that's running this country. We the people. The founding fathers made a preamble to make the most important statement that they could possibly make. And that first statement was, we the people. That was not Bill Gates. That was not Mark Zuckerberg. It was we the people. So that's what I have to say about your comply.
It's very sad that when people profess, the we the people need this, people need to rise up. Okay, that's a good start. And then when you reach that point where finally, here's where they get you. Finally, the government starts to listen. Hey, we know you're going through a lot. Here, have some money and shut up. That's what it is. Have some money and shut up.
Can we buy you
They
off?
need
Can
to
we
shut
buy
up.
you off? Can we buy you off? Can we buy you off? That's what they do.
I
First thing.
apparently the majority of the U.S. population got bought off for $600 fucking stimulus checks because everyone went silent after that.
You're honestly saying too much truth right now because that's true as fuck. It's sick. Sick beat. Sick as fuck. It makes me nauseous to think about that shit. It really is. They nickel and dime the shit out of you people.
I wrote it in capital games. I wrote it in capital games, and as much as it broke a lot of people's hearts, that's exactly what it was. That's what it was. They were like, man, let's throw 600 at them. They'll shut up. You know,
I literally
in a household that could mean something. You know, if you're, you got kids and, maybe dependents, that's fine. But when you got the prices steadily going up every quarter, let's go with every quarter when it comes to stocks, when it comes to prices, you got prices going up every quarter. That $600, that $1,400, hell, $2,000, it don't mean shit anymore because the buying power has been completely decimated. So all they really did was just say, here, have a check. We care. Just give us some time. Now we're facing eviction. We have an affordable housing shortage. We have a violence on the street. We're losing firemen, policemen, doctors, teachers, workers, truckers, everyone. Why? Because they want to push a bullshit agenda to serve themselves. And that makes you a very horrible human being. Makes you a very horrible person to even participate in this bid for complete autocracy. Makes me sick.
You heard it here, folks. You sold our country out for crumbs, $600, actually. And that doesn't make you a good person, even though you're taking the vaccine. Sorry, guys. So, guys, I mean, literally, that was a mic drop of epic proportions, Miss V. Thank you so much for being here tonight, because you're saying the things that I don't even want to say anymore, because, like, I feel like I've got to fucking catch up on to the sales pitch, but that's fresh out of the sales pitch, guys. You guys literally fucking let them nickel and dime you, let them fucking take our civil rights and liberties for $600. You let them build back better.
In the mere price of $600, you too
that's some Judas money. That's some Judas money right there.
There's your sales
17
pitch.
shekels of silver, bro. So,
there's your sales pitch.
We're at the top of the hour again, and I'm going to bed because that was that. I need to rest and meditate on what I learned. Final thoughts from you, Ms. V. What? I don't know. You just said it all. So, but what can you say more?
Honestly, how much more are you going to give away before you realize, boy, I screwed up? Truth is power. Use it.
Guys, the truth, when it's on your side, it doesn't matter how many fucking sales pitches that you gave. It doesn't matter how many vaccines that you take. It doesn't matter how many fucking Anderson Coopers that you befriend at the fucking White House Correspondents' Dinner. What matters, guys, is that we're free thinking, innovative, and open-minded. And we tell the truth. And we live our principles and our values. That is Tommy Nation Politics. That's Ms. V Cosmic Collision podcast. And you have another podcast. What is your other podcast?
My other podcast is Love and Humanity. It's on the back burner right now because apparently I can't seem to enjoy doing that because I'm trying to save a bunch of idiots that don't want to be saved. But I do have a closing statement for my current podcast for Cosmic Collision, Humanist Rising. Stand up, stand out, or stand down. Your choice.
Guys, be free thinking, innovative, totally open-minded. Logo Trey just said Trump 2024 as we're leaving. Yeah, I mean, you really lost out on the Trump 2020. I mean, yeah, man. All you got to do is wait for him in 2024, and then all your problems are going to be solved. Totally. I totally get it. I understand why you had to say it, and you're totally right, because that totally changed your life, and it changed everybody else's life, and that's really important, Trump 2024. Thank you so much for adding that, and I appreciate you. Anyway, so be really open-minded and totally open-minded, guys. No Republicans, no Democrats. You. Life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.